President Biden will not be calling for the removal of President Trump and is focused on taking office in 12 days. That's the latest statement from his transition team. But the president-elect has blasted Trump and Capitol Hill police for the handling of Wednesday's Capitol Hill siege. But now that a police officer has died, will he and Kamala Harris, vice president-elect, soften their rhetoric? Let's bring in district media president Beverly Hallberg. So, Beverly, I really thought that they missed a golden chance yesterday. And in many ways, it feels like that the president-elect Biden is still in campaign mode. He was pretty harsh yesterday. And then, of course, going back to the racial elements of Washington, D.C., or insinuating that race would have been different, I just feel like we went backwards instead of forward. Your thoughts?
I agree. Yeah, I completely agree. And look, on November 8th, when he addressed the country for the first time as president-elect, he used those words of unity. He talked about wanting to heal this country. We're very polarized. And while I was very skeptical that he was actually going to follow through, I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. And what he proved yesterday is he doesn't really want unity in this country. As you mentioned, the racial comments that he made, when you focus on race, when, first of all, there's no proof of any type of treating these individuals differently because of their race. It's premature because we're still getting details coming out. But he's hitting the country on where we're most fragile right now, where we need to heal most. So he's already stoking those divisions. And by the way, I think people aptly are picking up on the hypocrisy. I think people on the right and the left rightly called this out immediately, but many people on the left did not call out the riots that took place across this country for months, not until August when the polling changed. So I look at this as a huge loss for Joe Biden, because while skeptical, I was going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he did want to unify this country. And sadly, that's not what took place yesterday.
Yeah. A lot of people didn't not only not call them out, Beverly, some people said they were justified, that it was an expression of something much deeper. And I agree that there is something much deeper for a whole lot of Americans across the political divide, economic divide, racial divide, that we should be looking into. But, you know, this sort of, our riots were different than your riots. It does not help. Hey, now, listen, you train lawmakers. I've been in Washington, D.C., and people have come up to me. Hey, that Beverly Hallberg, she trained me. She's amazing. To help with public speaking. What are the lessons right now? Because I really feel, and I've spoken to a few lawmakers since Wednesday. What do you think? How should lawmakers be addressing the rest of the country? And I say this because I think people get used to talking to others they know well, like their constituents. But I feel like it becomes more clumsy when you have to speak to an entire nation. And I think a lot of lawmakers are feeling that. What should they be focused on?
Well, first of all, there needs to be a recognition that words matter. Just as I'm calling out the words that the president-elect used, I want to call out the words of our president, President Trump, right now. His words, where I will use a smiley, not helpful this week. I think many are rightly saying that his words led to what we tragically saw on Wednesday with people entering the Capitol. So words do have weight. Words do matter. So that's first of all. Second of all, though, something that I have seen that's consistent and people speaking out on what's going on, I think people do want this country to come together. It's the fringes that are keeping us apart. And it's also those who get stuck in D.C. too long or New York too long, this elitist mentality, politicians that have been there too long that are playing politics. I think it's actually going to be the lawmakers that realize we're all American. We have disagreements. We need to disagree in an agreeable way. And I want to point out one politician who stood out to me this week. Yeah. Senator Tim Scott took some really strong stances against the president, but he also posted a photo of him praying with his colleagues as the Capitol was being entered. Colleagues of his, of the different party as well, praying with them, using scripture. And I think that's what we could use a whole lot more in this country.
Yeah. And then next time we'll talk about the media, because the Olive Garden is a great restaurant. Beverly, thank you so much. It's been too long. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Yes. Who doesn't?